Hello everyone, welcome once again to Investing with a Difference. So I have been pretty slow with making new videos. You can imagine we had a holiday week here in US, and usually I think we usually slow down as a habit around this time. But overall, being serious here, I think we do want to talk about a lot of things, and I will try to catch up with all the news. But I think before that, let's look at the market quickly. And again, just to remind you that we had a lot of great content from Scaling Blockchain Conference, and it has already uploaded on our YouTube channel. So do watch it. The best way to watch it is by going to playlists, and we have created a Scaling Blockchain playlist which will run all the videos that you do not have to go and search these videos. Now, coming back to the market, so I think as we talked about it a long time back, we have been looking at Bitcoin, and as you can see that it was a sideways movement for a long time, and we broke down below 5800. Now I think I'm hearing a lot of comments from the market that people are looking for bottom around 3000, while a lot of buying is happening around here. So I don't know why the volume is not visible here, but anyway, I think what I can tell you is I'm really seeing a lot of activity around this area. Now, having said that, nobody knows how low we can go, so be careful out there, as I have talked in previous videos. But beyond that, what you need to understand is that I just ran a poll on Twitter, and what are you doing with your crypto portfolio? And you see that 62% people are still saying they're buying more. Now, there are two ways to interpret it: that yes, market is still hopeful, there are still a lot of positive people out there, so we haven't hit the absolute pessimism mark. Or I would say that because this is the community which we have formed within Investing with a Difference, maybe we are talking about people who are more educated, and maybe they are looking at it as a more buying opportunity, and they are sold on crypto and they will never sell even if the market goes down. So there are two of the interpretation I can say, but usually when I look at this kind of polling, I say that perhaps the bottom is still not in. There is still a lot of optimism around here. Of course, we have a pretty small sample, and it was only 73 votes. So I would say that it's dangerous to extrapolate this information. But overall, what I can say is that definitely we are seeing a lot of buying happening, a lot of institutional news as we were expecting. It was delayed, and those things are moving forward. I hear some stuff happening in consensus. There are some new announcements happening with NASDAQ. So I don't know if that will have any positive impact. Overall, I would say I'm prepared here to assume that we can go down further, and it's all about dollar cost averaging. So let us look at EOS BTC chart, because what I like to see is a relative comparison between EOS and BTC. And as you can see, we are fairly kind of sideways movement after of course, the initial fall after the mainnet launch. As we all know, we had underperformed, but since August, we are actually doing all right. We just had a big fall. I'm going to talk about it, what happened yesterday. So usually this happens around a big FUD, but also this is a kind of a pattern, and we are forming a base, pretty good base around here, and it's not broken down. Like if you go and compare this with the Ethereum chart, I would say that some of the other platforms like Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has actually been trending down in last few days, ever since this big correction happened in November. And what is this? The meaning of this? We are seeing that EOS Ethereum is actually going to be doing much better. And that is what matters, I think, a lot, because ultimately, if you look at coin market cap, Ethereum and EOS are the only smart contract platforms. Everything else is a currency, and they're fighting to gain relevance. But as we all know, that decentralized applications are the future. People have actually accepted that, and a lot of people are invested in it. Very smart people. So ultimately, the decentralized applications are going to happen. There is no doubt about it. And the two top platforms today are Ethereum and EOS. Now, EOS is gaining very significantly while the whole market is tanking. Of course, as I said, we will talk a little bit about what happened in the last 24 hours, which is kind of impacting. I would say that I'm not very concerned. Technically, this is looking pretty strong. And I think one more thing. So what really is impacting the prices? So Kyle from EOS, I think his I forgot which BP. I think he was Vibes or something. So I think I've been following him earlier as well. He's a pretty good guy. He's always talking sense about. He does a lot of YouTube videos. I'm sure a lot of you are watching him, and I do remember him from there. And I think what I see is he has written a very good post about what's wrong right now, what are the key concerns around block producers, and specifically he has been tracking this issue around Starteos, which has started a game EOS BP, and it is owned by Starteos, so it's a second node of Starteos. The second thing is they are rewarding token holders for voting, and that is again kind of against the whole EOS block producer ethics, or I think to a certain extent it's part of the constitution that you will not engage in vote buying. So while these issues are important and I agree they should be raised and talked about, I would say that right now within EOS we do not have any way to enforce it. So Starteos, while they have launched this second chain, they're openly talking about it. It's a good thing, I would say, because I am sure there are other big exchange-based block producers or whale-approved block producers who are already running multiple nodes. There is no way to prove they are owned by the same people. They are cross-voting. All those things are happening. And if StartOS is openly coming out and saying, you know what, we are launching another BP, it's actually one way of exposing this thing that it is possible in EOS. There is no way you can stop these things from happening. And this is not very different from the mining pools and the miners, which what they do. If you have the hash power, you control. And we have already seen the drama which has happened in Bitcoin Cash. If you're tracking that, I think that's one of the main reasons why we had this whole crash below $6,000, where we were very stable. And the whole thing started when Bitcoin Cash forked, and now you have Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash SV. I don't think I've uploaded. Sorry, this is an old page. Let me go quickly check. Yeah, because that was really not showing the right market cap. So it's 123 billion now, and you can see that now you see Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Cash, and these are the things which are really created doubts in the mind of people about Bitcoin itself, because again, these are very centralized decision makers. Hash power is deciding between these two coins, who is taking the lead. And sometimes the exchanges are deciding, because some exchanges are listing one coin while others are listing another coin. So these are the kind of things which are very common in crypto world. And when you look at block producers and what they are doing, I think some of them have this history. They are we need to understand that especially the block producer like Starteos, who are from China and the region, where they do not understand perhaps the whole concept of voting and kind of democracy, because they have not experienced that. Plus they have seen a lot of, again, these are all my personal views. I'm not trying to label anybody like anything. I'm just giving another point of view that they have seen a crypto world where hash power and these kind of things determine who is going to be the winner, and those businesses are running like that. So I would say, instead of, yeah, while this is a great issue, we should highlight it, but the solutions are not in kicking out Starteos, because that is just, you are going to kick out one visible block producer. You have no way to know what are the other issues in the system, and ultimately network is running. We have a great apps, a lot of transactions happening, so we're going to talk about it now. So I think it's more about the cultural differences, where maybe the one region is seeing this as no problem because apps are running, we are making progress, a lot of new apps are coming every day, people are engaged, and nobody cares whether the right block producers are getting voted or why they should not benefit from it. So I think it's kind of, again, a cultural divide, a concern. And but all of us, as we know that we have been voting as investing with a difference, and we do want to make sure that this is fixed. So what I am recommending is we should focus on referendums which can really fix basic issues, like increasing the number of votes from 30 to 50, reducing the decay, because decay is hitting a lot of people who are genuine voters and not able to refresh every week. And then rec system should come out, rewarding people for voting 30 block producers, not just a few block producers. A lot of other things which systematically we can change. Hopefully we should also see that whether a community can engage with block one and say whether they can vote. All these kind of things should be focused on, and increasing user participation. So I have been working with a lot of investors on setting up their wallets, how to get started. So I'm going to do another video. I realize that a lot of people are still struggling, they're early on, so I would do another video to explain that right from scratch and highlight you some links to get started. And I think that is something we need to continue and bring more voters in. We still have like 10% of the total votes which are getting voted, which is too small. When you look at not really 10%, but let me say 10% of votes can decide who is the winner, because usually the top block producers are like around 100 million EOS votes. That's what they are using to get to number one position. Now coming back to what else is happening in the market. So if you are in EOS world and if you are looking at EOS tokens, so I have been, if you're on Telegram page especially for investing with the difference, we have been talking about MEV token. This is a casino, online casino, which is doing very good, and I've been talking about it on Telegram channel. So just a disclaimer, I'm personally invested into it. We have some amazing dividends. So this last week, so they are giving weekly dividends, this MEV token. They gave out 51 EOS per 10k MEV, and the 10k MEV the cost was around 100 EOS. Now you got 50% returns in 1 week as dividends, and now we are only 3 days into this week and we are already looking at 47 EOS per 10k. Now this week is going to be maybe 100% of returns of what we invested, we are expecting as dividends. So this is some amazing returns, and the reason is, let me go to the dApp radar. So this app has done some amazing work in the UI, and now they are the #1 app on the dApp radar in terms of the games, the EOS games, and they have some really interesting token economics. So they only allow you to stake every weekend, and you claim your actual dividends every weekend, and that's the one whole week you cannot really participate in staking more. So what it creates is the whole week of gameplay, as it is increasing, the early investors are getting rewarded, because now the token which are qualified for payout this week are locked at this number, and as you wait for this week to be over and these tokens are growing, I think this is some really big returns we are expecting. Now, while I do not want you to use this as an advice to go buy this token, because there are a lot of risk factors, because right now the kind of mining which is happening, so they are actually distributing MEV tokens for people who are playing this game. This will become half after around 3.7 million MEV, and at current rate this may happen within a day or two. So next week we don't know whether these people who are heavily betting using bots and trying to mine this token. So this is another negative side of this. When people are rewarding with airdrops, some bots are coming and mining. It is a great for existing investors, but for future you cannot say whether these yields will sustain. Personally, I think I'm still invested in it and buying it, because I see the token price has gone down because all these miners are selling into the open market. And again, as I said, you can come back to our Telegram channel. We have a lot of great discussion happening on this. The link is right here. If you see on the YouTube channel, you just click here and you can join us. We had been discussing this for some time. A lot of people who were on Telegram channel, they benefited by staking before this week started, because this week we are going to get all our capital back while still holding the MEV tokens, and this is going to be great. So this is one way of doing good in EOS world and making money. It's very risky though, because as we have seen with some other games previously, they're not able to sustain the interest and they're not able to really keep the dividends. But at this rate, at the entry level we are seeing right now, it looks pretty safe. That is one thing which I would like to highlight. Now going back to the dApp radar. So as you can see, Royal Online Vegas, they changed the name. It was originally My EOS Vegas. That's why the token name is MEV, but they are #1 right now. And the amount of EOS which is being bet in last 1 week on this app is 1 million. In last 1 hour, 1 day itself, it's almost touching a million EOS, which is huge for any standard. Like if you compare it with any other blockchain, just one game doing this kind of business is amazing, and this is huge. So I think this is getting attention now, and be careful, but do come to our Telegram channel if you have any questions, and we will try to help you whether it makes sense to invest in this token. Overall, I think we are kind of looking for opportunities on how to engage. I'm sure a lot of you are saying are not happy with the progress. I will do another video on what is happening in EOS world beyond this gambling dApps. This was mainly focused on in market, and we wanted to talk about what's going on and what we are doing for trading. Beyond this, of course, we had a great conference, but that was just a starting point within investing with the difference. And now the block start initiative which we have started, we are going to do a lot of development on EOS. We are going to set up a lot of education for developers, bringing new people from Silicon Valley into EOS world, and helping them develop some great applications. The bear market is good for developers because you get time to develop your ideas, and when the market turns around, you will see that the money will be there to invest in it. At this stage, that focus should be to develop ideas, because technology is there. While it is being used for gambling apps, while it is being used for any other ways of using the chain is working, it is functional, performing very well in terms of number of transactions. It's very stable. While yes, we have a lot of governance issues to be resolved, we have a lot of things which we can improve in terms of quality of block producers, but I think in parallel we should always look at what the dApps are doing. One final thing, I'm participating in this EOS summit, which is happening on Friday, November 30th this week. I will be helping with the US time zone sessions on EOS summit. So we will share more details very soon on that. I'm sure you must have seen some of the announcements around it. And we will be definitely participating in it to focus on dApps, focus on what's happening in EOS world. So do tune in for that and register for that wherever you see the information, and I will be posting it very soon on this channel and some links in this video. Thank you for joining. Subscribe and like the video, and do share with your friends if you like the content we produce. Thank you. Bye bye.